And the Prime Minister and President Malay, they were also waving to the crowds from the balcony of the presidential palace in Buenos Aires. India and Argentina share close ties. There is a strategic partnership that is in place. In fact, it has been in place since 2019. It was established then. There is energy cooperation, defense collaboration, trade and investment, agriculture and mining, cultural exchanges. All these are key areas, including space program cooperation. All these are areas of cooperation between the two countries. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had laid a wreath as well at the San Martin Memorial in Buenos Aires. The Prime Minister paid homage to José de San Martin, who is actually widely regarded as the father of Argentina, at the Plaza de San Martin, which is in Buenos Aires. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the BRICS summit at Rio de Janeiro, which is going to take place on the 6th and the 7th of July. And on the 8th of July, the Prime Minister will have a bilateral meeting with President Lula da Silva in Brasilia. Now, from artists to chefs to business leaders, even small children, the Indian community is looking forward in great anticipation to the Prime Minister arriving in Brazil. Here's Shobhan Saxena with a report from Sao Paulo.
The members of Indian community in Brazil are very excited and enthusiastic about the visit of Prime Minister Modi here on July 5th. The community is preparing hard to welcome the Prime Minister of India. Led by Kathak teacher Gyan Shikrahe, Indian ladies from 3 different cities are preparing a special dance for the PM's reception at Rio de Janeiro.
We are preparing a cultural program to welcome RTM and to homage our Indian Armed Force and PM sir. One girl, she's preparing very beautiful painting for to receive our PM, and of course cultural singing, dancing will be there.
At Brazil's best-known Indian restaurant, Chef Dipali Vaskar, who had served the PM during the G20 summit last year, is again working on a special menu for PM Modi.
It's been a great joy and a very privileged occasion for us to serve Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister of India. This will be the second time, and we'll be serving him a traditional menu as well as some local touches to some dishes considering his diet restrictions and his choices of food.
It's a great privilege and honor as an Indian restaurant which is going to take care of the meals and nutritional part of Mr. Modi in Rio de Janeiro. And being a member of Indian community, we are very excited for this event. Again, a lot of cultural activities are participated, a lot of enthusiasm among the Indian community and diaspora here to visit and greet and meet Mr. Modi. And this thing, I think, will be a memorable event that will be captured by every young, old and youth and the kids too.
I'm really excited. It's my first time seeing the Prime Minister. When I just came hearing this news, I was really happy. I'm also going to perform in the cultural performance.
Indian business community, mostly based in Sao Paulo, is gearing up to receive PM Modi in Rio de Janeiro and Brasilia this week.
Any head of the state visiting a country and then making a specific space and time to meet the community representatives is very symbolic and has a huge, I think, emotional connection, but also sends a symbolic message that we understand you, we are listening to your concerns, and we're going to address that concern.
A large number of members of Indian community are heading to Rio and Brasilia to welcome Prime Minister Modi, and they hope that his visit to BRICS Summit and the bilateral meeting with President Lula will bring a new dimension to good relations between India and Brazil. This is Shobhan Saxena for DD India, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
An important business gathering also is going to meet in Brazil. This is for the BRICS Summit. It's taking shape under the BRICS umbrella. There are high-profile Indian businessmen who are participating, from agribusiness to gems and jewelry to startups. The India delegation is looking for new sectors for collaboration. Our correspondent in Rio de Janeiro is looking at the expectations from the summit and also the bilaterals between India and Brazil.
Joined in by all business people from India. Ma'am, thank you so much for talking to us, and we already have a delegation. What are the expectations? What are we talking about? What is the brainstorming that's going on?
It's really heartening to see that for the Brazilian business delegation and who we've been interacting with, and of course the government officials here are really interested in promoting Brazilian startups. So I think there's a great synergy between Indian startups, Indian investors, legacy companies here, and investors and the governments wanting to work on innovation, startups, and growing the whole startup ecosystem.
We're also, obviously, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding a bilateral with President Lula. What are the expectations of the Indian businessmen that you are expecting that will be one of the outcomes from the meeting?
We see a lot of opportunity because I see some diverse angles also here. Here the natural resources are in plenty. There is a scope for innovation is very high. What attracted me here is how do they use the biofuels? Yeah, they are the leaders in that.
Tariff is 100% there. That once it is reduced, certainly there is a lot of scope between two countries and both will be winner. Only is that CBO, complete build-up unit, should be allowed to basically export here at a slightly cheaper rate.
Economically speaking, what are the expectations from the BRICS?
BRICS is doing a great job by getting people united out here and making people understand what are the opportunities in India, Brazil, what bilateral trade we guys can do together.
We want the primacy of the Indian business. His visit will spur that and will actually give a big fillip and encouragement to all of us to do more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to come here. There is going to be a lot of eyeballs that will be tuned to get to know what will be happening, what kind of discussions will be happening on the economic front. With camera person Piyush Verma, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
As the BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro approaches, India's role is under the spotlight, from counterterrorism to trade. Now, with India playing a pivotal role in BRICS, as well as bilateral ties, with Brazil steadily gaining momentum. Let's listen to what Dinesh Bhatia, who is the Indian ambassador to Brazil, he is speaking to our correspondent, discussing New Delhi's key priorities in that region.
We are joined in by Ambassador Dinesh Bhatia, who is the Ambassador of India to Brazil. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to DD India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming to Brazil, obviously for the BRICS summit and a state-level visit, which is going to be a high-level bilateral. Sir, we would want to first ask you about the BRICS summit. What are India's priorities in this summit, and what can be expected that India is going to push for in this summit?
As far as BRICS summit is concerned, Prime Minister has participated in all the summits, and our basic agenda since the inception of BRICS has been global governance reform, and we will continue with the same agenda in this summit. Brazil is of course the partner in Global South. It's a strategic partner of India, and we have a common agenda of global governance reforms.
India has put its very strong stance on counterterrorism. And after the Pahalgam attack, how do you think India is going to push even stronger this time, or probably make a stronger consensus amidst the member states?
Counterterrorism is one of our core agenda. As far as BRICS is concerned, they will talk about it in some form, which I'm not privy to at this point of time. But on bilateral front, I can tell you that between India and Brazil, Brazil has supported us on this issue. And in this visit, we are trying to conclude an MOU on counterterrorism, which will be another step forward between the two strategic partners.
So obviously we'll shift focus to the bilateral that is going to happen between India and Brazil. How do you think, where's the trajectory of the relationship between both the leaders, Prime Minister Modi and President Lula, considering this is Prime Minister Modi's 4th visit this time?
Brazil and India have always been close countries. They have been part of Global South. And since 2006, our bilateral relations were elevated to strategic partnership. And of course, there have been several exchange of visits. Prime Minister Modi's first visit out of Indian subcontinent was to Brazil in July of 2014. That shows the closeness of importance of the closeness of relationship between India and Brazil. After about 57 years, Prime Minister of India will be paying a state visit to Brazil. And it's a very important thing between the two countries. And the agenda in the meanwhile has amplified so much. It has deepened and broadened between the two countries. From political relationship, where we are close partners in various fora, we are talking about trade and investment. The trade between the two countries has gone up to more than $12 billion, with a slight trade surplus in favor of India. Then we are also talking about from agricultural research to scientific research to digital partnership, which is a very important agenda currently between India and Brazil.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, for speaking to us. So here, as global attention shifts to Brazil with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the BRICS summit, as well as for this landmark bilateral that is going to happen between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Lula, we'll bring to you all the important updates, insights and exclusives from Brazil only for DD India.
Now still to come here on DD India News Hour. Russia-Ukraine conflict, the stalemate deepens after the United States and Russia have a phone call. Now Kiev and Washington are boosting their air defenses. The Rwandan leader has warned the DRC against undermining peace accord amid lingering tensions. It's International Cooperatives Day, and the theme this year is Cooperatives Driving Inclusive and Sustainable Solutions for a Better World.
We often think that water crises are natural disasters or triggered by them. But what if the truth is that we contribute heavily to this problem? Let's take a look how best can we navigate them.
We're kind of like doctors for lakes. For small, shallow, pond-like urban lakes, the Schaefer method is a good fit.
Of course, the poverty challenge that the children are facing, which is they could not overcome by themselves. It needs various collaboration.
Initially, we have taken a pilot project of 1.5 kilometers from both the sides of this bridge. Initial work was only cleaning of all the dumped garbage. We have removed almost more than 1,000 trucks of garbage from this place.
Goa, an adventure paradise like none other. From lush forests to rugged hills, from pristine ocean beach stretches to stunning lakes, there is something to explore in every corner of the state. And some adventures are wilder than others. Watch postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The Russia-Ukraine conflict remains deadlocked after a tense call between the US and the Russian presidents. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian President Zelensky and US President Trump, they've agreed to strengthen Kiev's air defenses amid the escalating situation. Both sides have launched strikes and appear to be preparing for further confrontation as diplomatic efforts continue to stall.
The Russia-Ukraine conflict remains at a standstill after the recent phone call between the US and Russian presidents ended without a breakthrough. A day later, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he discussed air defenses with US President Donald Trump.
We talk about sanctions a lot, yeah. What does he say? I would say he's not thrilled with it, but, he's been able to handle sanctions, but these are pretty biting sanctions. No, we talk about sanctions a lot. And he understands that it may be coming, and he's a professional.
Russia launched its largest drone and missile assault on Ukraine, prompting US President Donald Trump to suggest possible sanctions and criticize Russian President Vladimir Putin. The United Nations condemned the attacks and called for an immediate, full and unconditional ceasefire. While on Saturday, Ukraine's special forces struck Russia's Borisov-Glebsk military airfield in the Voronezh region, targeting a glide bomb storage and trainer aircraft. The base hosts enemy Su-34, Su-35S and Su-30SM aircraft. Meanwhile, despite its military actions, the Kremlin reiterated a preference for a diplomatic solution but vowed to continue its operation. On the other hand, US has scaled back some aid to Ukraine, raising concerns in Kiev. As both sides continue to intensify military actions and diplomatic efforts stall, the future of the conflict remains uncertain. Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
The Rwandan President Paul Kagame has warned the Democratic Republic of Congo against any tricks in implementing a US-brokered peace deal, raising concerns that peace will remain elusive between the two neighbors. This report has the details.
Just days after a US-brokered peace deal, tensions have started emerging between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Rwandan President Paul Kagame warned that the deal could collapse if Congo failed to neutralize Hutu militiamen linked to the 1994 Rwandan genocide.
We reached an agreement in Washington, D.C., but it is not up to Washington to implement it. It's those who reach the agreement there to actually be the ones to implement what they agreed. You will never find Rwanda at fault with implementing what we have agreed to do. You'll never. But if the side we are working with plays tricks and takes us back to the problem, then we deal with the problem like we have been dealing with it.
Last month, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the DRC signed the pact in Washington, D.C. in the presence of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. U.S. President Donald Trump hailed the agreement, which aims to attract billions of dollars of Western investment to Eastern Congo, which is rich in minerals like copper, lithium, and gold. As per the deal, the two sides have pledged to implement a 2024 agreement that would see Rwandan troops withdraw from Eastern Congo within nearly 90 days. The two countries will also launch a regional economic integration framework within the same time frame. Rwanda has sent at least 7,000 soldiers to DR Congo. According to Congo and UN, the troops have been sent to support M23 rebels who seized eastern Congo's two largest cities and lucrative mining areas in a lightning advance earlier this year. Rwanda has denied helping M23, saying its forces are acting in self-defense against Congo's army and Hutu militiamen. Meanwhile, Congo's government and M23 have said that they would send delegations back to Qatar for separate talks aimed at ending the conflict which has claimed thousands of lives. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held delegation-level talks with President Javier Milei of Argentina, who was leading the Argentinian delegation. And we're going back to that story now for more details on what transpired at this delegation-level talks. The Prime Minister Modi is in Argentina, as we know. Our correspondent Arun Sharma is there as well. He's in Buenos Aires joining us. Arun, what are the outcomes of the Prime Minister's visit so far?
Well, Mark, as far as the outcome of the visit is concerned, the Ministry of External Affairs is scheduled to address a press conference, a press briefing, whereby we should expect outcomes of the meeting between both the leaders, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Milei. But yes, one thing is clear, that this visit of any Indian Prime Minister is happening after almost 6 decades, that means after 57 years. And in this context, this visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very much significant. And as we know this fact, Mark, that in 2019, India's relationship with Argentina that became strategic in nature. Right. So this means that there is mutual trust and respect between each other, and of course, both the countries are looking forward to collaborate and cooperate in very strategically important sectors. And the buzz over here is that that India and Argentina are looking forward to collaborate in various sectors that on one side enhances or boosts the green capacity or the infrastructure in India, and on the other side gets access or gets a major it helps India to expand its capacities in Argentina to explore the rare earth elements for the minerals. So yes, in that context, this will be likely to be very much important. Second important aspect is, of course, people-to-people ties or people-to-people connect, because yoga, Ayurveda, India's soft power, this is something that people of Argentina are also adopting very much. And the way Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is ensuring is focusing on the fact that how can Indian culture become global in nature. So in that context, there are various people over here who are adopting the Indian culture. We have seen that initiatives like Bharat Ko Jano, in this various Argentinian people, they were awarded, they were the winners of this initiative of Bharat Ko Jano, and they have they also met the Indian Prime Minister as well. So, and they know a lot about Indian culture, about India's interesting fact. So yes, in that context, now what are the big takeaways? We'll have to wait and watch. But one thing is for sure, that be it business to business, be it the business ties, be it the economic ties, or of course, be it people-to-people connect, this visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is very significant.
Indeed, and we know that the Argentinian economy was going through a reasonably tough time, and President Milei has been seen as, an architect of reforms, and he's brought it out of that difficult time. So trade and investment ties with India would be extremely important. Also, the fact that they are a largely, an energy resource-rich country, and energy is also important for India. These areas, I'm sure, would be, high on the agenda, isn't it?
Energy security is, very much likely on the table. But yes, as you rightly mentioned this point, Mark, that Argentina is riding high on the reforms. But let me tell you that the way India has undertaken the reforms in the last 10 years, we are witnessing it under the new leadership in Argentina. This country is opening up to reforms, the reforms that has already been undertaken by India in last 1 decade, be it, cutting down on taxation, or be it making the economy private sector friendly, or, be it various other measures that gives a major push to the ease of doing business as well. So yes, in this manner, India and Argentina are complementary in nature. On one side, Argentina is also looking forward to undertake the reforms the way India has undertaken. Various think tanks over here do believe in this fact that the way India has undertaken the reforms, in the last decade, this sets an example for a country like Argentina as well. Also for the fact that till last 2.5 years ago, the inflation was here in double-digit number, but now the way inflation is cooling off, this shows, of course, that how the reforms are also getting major push in Argentina, and of course, both India and Argentina can become complementary to each other as far as collaboration in various sectors are concerned.
Yeah, we talk about people-to-people ties, and you were mentioning, of course, India's cultural strengths and cultural diplomacy. But from the Argentinian side also, many of the Argentinian football players are great icons in India. And Argentina are the world champions currently in football. How strong are, the options for sports diplomacy, Arun?
I believe you're asking about sports
yes.
diplomacy. Yeah, because there was a problem with the voice. But yes, yes, of course, football diplomacy, football primarily, that also connects the people of both the countries. We shouldn't forget the fact that there is a place in Madhya Pradesh, in India's state, it is a place which is known as mini Brazil. Over there, one member or the other in that family of that village, they are into football, they do play football, and this is what even Indian Prime Minister Modi has mentioned on various platforms. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the Argentina football team when it won the 2022 World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. And yes, in 2023 also, when the Foreign Minister of Argentina, when he was on his visit to India, he gifted Indian Prime Minister Modi the official T-shirt of Argentina. So yes, sports is something, football diplomacy is something that is bringing both the nations closer to each other. And also, now Argentina is also participating in games like Kabaddi, Kho-Kho. So, people here are facing interest in these games as well. So on the other side, Bollywood, tango, all these things, look at it this way, that there are Mumbaikars who are participating in Asian Championship, which is dedicated to tango. So yes, in this way, Bollywood and tango are also coming closer to each other. On the other side, football diplomacy is also ensuring that how can people ties get some major push. So yes, all these soft power between both the countries, that ensures that how both countries come closer to each other, so that the relations, the bilaterals between both the countries can achieve new heights.
Indeed, also when we look at agriculture, after all, India depends largely, there's a large percentage of our population involved in the primary sector, and Argentina too. So there are, and these countries look to, food security as a major, it is an opportunity as well as a challenge in many ways. So when we look at the possibilities, today is International Cooperatives Day as well, and India has, used the cooperative method to try and, lift many people out of poverty and provide examples of inclusive development for small and marginal farmers. What's the potential for agricultural cooperation between the two countries?
So, yes, India has showcased this example because India is a nation, when it comes to food security, it is providing free ration to 800 million people in India. Now, this is a surprising factor, for many in the world and for various multilateral institutions as well in the world, that how a developing country like India is ensuring food security for such a large number of people. So on the other side, yes, Argentina is also exporting a lot of soya beans, soya oil to India as well. So yes, as far as the agriculture security is concerned, both countries are likely to partner. They're already collaborating and having cooperation in sectors like agri. You talked about the dairy sector. The cooperative model of dairy in India, and specifically in states like Gujarat, is of course the best practices that various institutions can adopt. So yes, in that context, both India and Argentina are likely to cooperate. And yes, Mark, shortly the Ministry of External Affairs is holding a press briefing here in Argentina, whereby we'll also get to know that what are the big takeaways as far as the delegation level talks or the meeting between the two leaders, that is Prime Minister Modi and President Millet, that took place a short while ago. So yes, when Indian Prime Minister visits Argentina after almost 6 decades in a bilateral format primarily, so a lot to expect as far as the visit is concerned. So MEA would be doing a press briefing shortly over here.
Indeed, also there has been the cooperation in the defense sector, especially in terms of helicopters being sold to Argentina. So in this area as well, India is looking to be a supplier, of defense equipments and increased defense exports over a period of time, and South-South cooperation is part of that. So in this respect, what are the options?
So there are various options, and India is trying to become self-reliant or Atmanirbhar in defense sector as well. India is working on 2 defense corridors in India, Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu respectively, and it is trying to become a major manufacturer as far as defense is concerned. India is ensuring that the indigenization of defense equipments can be done, be it in various countries of global south. India as of now is exporting the defense equipments, the defense capacities to various countries. So basically India is looking forward to become the Atmanirbhar or self-reliant in defense sector as well. But yes, there are various areas of cooperation, but one thing is for sure, at a time when world is divided on various issues, at a time when the world is into trade wars and trade war is dominating, at this point in time India is becoming a lucrative market for various countries, because India provides an option of a great market, and of course a trusted partner which is working for global good, and of course a demographic dividend, a talent pool of the youth or the youngsters, innovation, startups. These are some of the things that is making India very lucrative, a trusted partner. So in that context also, Argentina would be ensuring that how can they collaborate in various sectors, including defense, so that an intact supply chains can be ensured no matter partnership is done in whichever sector.
Indeed, Arun, also this visit is historic because it's the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister in 57 years. So you were there for the last few days. Tell us a little bit about how this visit has been received, not only by the Indian community, but by the Argentinians.
Okay, so Argentinians are looking for something. Point number one, when it comes to the business community, they're looking forward that there should be a free trade agreement or preferential trade agreement between India and Argentina, because this will ensure that the business or trade ties can get a major push. As of now, the trade between both India and Argentina is approximately between $5 to $5.5 billion. Now, the India-Argentina Business Council expects that this trade figure should increase to $8 billion going forward in a couple of years, and then of course till $14 billion by 2040. But for that, it is very much necessary that both countries should should at least start working on the free trade agreements or preferential trade agreements. That is what the business community actually is looking forward to. Second, when it comes to the community that is related to yoga, Ayurveda, the soft power of India, they want that much propagation should be done of the Indian culture in Argentina, because Argentinians primarily are looking forward to the Indian culture. We have seen that how the cultural artists in Argentina, they perform the Indian classical dance in front of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this showcases that how Indian culture is getting major recognition globally in countries, in the Latin American countries, in countries like Argentina. So yes, of course, that is also another aspect. And last but not the least, we should not forget this fact that both India and Argentina, the Indian diaspora primarily wants that they should work together as far as combating terrorism is concerned, because we should not forget this fact that Argentina was one of the first countries that condemned the terror attacks or the Pahalgam terror attacks as well. So yes, both the countries will be working in the direction to countering terrorism as well.
Interestingly, there are reports that suggest that Argentina is also keen on developing, cooperation in nuclear energy with India. Just give us a little background about Argentina's potential as a nuclear energy provider or whatever.
So, as far as energy security is concerned, Argentina is having, a massive, opportunity or potential as far as the energy ties are concerned. On one side, Argentina has the third largest and fourth largest shale oil and shale gas reserves respectively. That makes it lucrative. So on the other side, yes, India is also exploring options of the lithium or the rare earth minerals going forward, because already the Indian companies, the PSUs are also already collaborating in the sectors like lithium. Or the rare earth elements, but yes, they're also ensuring that outing capacities be enhanced. And there is a buzz also over here that that India and Argentina can move ahead for the civil nuclear supplies as well, because this is something, because as we know this fact that India is looking forward to upgrade to enhance its capacities as far as green infrastructure is concerned. By 2070, India is looking forward to become carbon neutral. And for that, it is very much necessary for India to diversify its green portfolio. On one side, India is looking for the options like the lithium or the rare earth minerals. So on the other side, it is also exploring the options of the nuclear supplies, the civil nuclear supplies primarily. So yes, in that context, Argentina has great expertise as far as the nuclear supplies or civil nuclear supplies are concerned. And yes, there is a buzz that yes, the collaborations could be done. This is a long-term prospect when it comes to nuclear supplies. But yes, there is a buzz that this could be a possibility going forward.
Also, Arun, Argentina has been a strong advocate of India's counter-terrorism initiatives at all forums, including the United Nations. So in this regard as well, we have looked at the strategic partnership since 2019, but counter-terrorism is also an aspect, and Prime Minister, has always spoken about counter-terror measures and trying to build an alliance against terrorism across the world. So to what extent is we can see further cooperation here?
So Mark, India has given a strong message to the entire world that we are from the land of Gandhi and Buddha and Vivekananda. So India is a place from where these people come, and we obviously talk about peace. But if in case somebody tries to compromise with the sovereignty of our country, somebody tries to get involved in the terrorist activities, India has all the rights and India has the potential to give befitting reply to the terrorist outfits. And recently also we know that when the Pelgam terror attack took place, Argentina was one of the prominent countries, that condemned the terror attack and strongly gave a message that Argentina is strongly standing with India. And also, not only United Nations, Argentina and India are partnered in various multilateral platforms, including the G20 as well. And they are of the view that they'll be raising these issues of terrorism, countering terrorism, combating terrorism, and on all the multilateral platforms. One thing is common between both India and Argentina, that they do agree on the point that there is no good terrorism or bad terrorism. Anything that destroys human life, anything that brings uncertainty in any region, anything that tries to compromise with the sovereignty of any country. So all these terrorist activities needs to be categorized in only one format, and that is terrorism or terrorist activities, and that needs to be condemned in all possible ways. And of course, shortly, Mark, we are expecting the Ministry of External Affairs press briefing as well over here, on the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Argentina.
Yes, Arun, so we'll come back to you when that press conference begins. Thanks very much for the moment for joining us. Now, continuing with the news here, the latest World Bank data ranks India as the most equal country in the world in terms of income. Now, India's extreme poverty dropped to 2.3%, placing it in the moderately low inequality category. India has surpassed the United States and China in this list. This next report by Ragini Sudhir Chore brings us the insights.
India has achieved a remarkable milestone in its development journey, not just as the world's fourth largest economy, but now also as one with least economic inequalities. According to the latest World Bank data, India's Gini index stands at 25.5, placing it as the fourth most equal country in the world. India's score puts it far ahead of many advanced economies, including the United States, which stands at 41.8, and China, which has a Gini score of 35.7. Notably, India ranks as more equal than every G7 and G20 nation, placing it in the moderately low inequality category and just a fraction away from entering the low inequality group. It joins a select group of just 30 countries worldwide that have managed to achieve this level of economic equity, most of which are smaller or wealthier European nations. Over the past 10 years, 171 million Indians have been lifted out of extreme poverty. A key driver behind the transformation is a series of well-implemented government initiatives that combine digital technology with grassroots outreach. The key government initiatives are the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which has brought over 55 crore Indians into the formal banking system. Aadhaar, India's biometric digital ID system, now covers over 142 crore people and forms the foundation of welfare targeting. Direct benefit transfer system ensures subsidies and aid reach the intended recipients, cutting down leakages and saving over 3.48 lakh crore rupees. Ayushman Bharat scheme has revolutionized access by providing up to 5 lakh rupees in medical coverage to over 41 crore beneficiaries, supported by more than 32,000 hospitals. Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and Ayushman Vaya Vandana are further strengthening coverage, especially for senior citizens. Entrepreneurs from marginalized communities have schemes like Stand Up India that have provided over 62,000 crore rupees in loans, and the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana has reached over 80 crore people with free food grains during times of need. India's Gini index of 25.5 is more than just a statistic, as it reflects a shift in the living realities of millions. More families today have access to nutritious food, banking, healthcare, and opportunities to earn and grow. India's success lies in its ability to pair economic reform with robust social protection. While other nations struggle to balance growth with equity, India has shown that inclusive development is not only possible but sustainable. Ragini Sudhir Chaure's report for DD India.
The 16th Toy Biz International B2B exhibition is being held in New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam. This is from the 4th to the 7th of July. It's scheduled over that range of time, and with over 400 Indian brands exhibiting their innovations. Organized every year by the Toy Association of India, this expo has evolved into South Asia's premier B2B trade show. This is for toys and games. Abhishek Mahajan reports.
Over 350 Indian toy manufacturers have come together under one roof for Toy Biz, showcasing their latest creations from traditional wooden toys to cutting-edge games, all proudly made in India. A large number of foreign buyers are expected to participate in this mega event.
About more than 50 countries, the registration is done for the foreign buyers. Number is more than 125. So this is the first time in the history for toy industry we have invited more than 50 countries buyer. They are looking the toys and they are surprised that we are displaying a good quality product with the good packaging and competitive price.
This exhibition is a testament to India's growing manufacturing capabilities as country is setting new standards and a wide market.
PM Modi had in October 2020 edition of Man Ki Baat, he has emphasized the role of toys, and in 2014 itself he said to be vocal for local. Nobody understood this at that time, and today we are a good player in international arena.
Backed by Make in India initiative, the Indian toy industry has seen a remarkable transformation in recent years, with exports increasing and imports dropping by nearly 70% since 2014. India's toy industry, once heavily dependent on imports, is now manufacturing domestically and exporting to 153 countries.
Design, packaging and branding, ये तीन विषयों के ऊपर अगर हमने सबने फोकस किया तो मैं समझता हूं कि आगे चल के the world will be our market.
Now hailed as South Asia's premier B2B trade show for toys and games, Toy Biz has become a powerful platform connecting Indian manufacturers with global buyers, promoting not just commerce but culture too.
It's a B2B exhibition, so we are getting along with a lot of customers who wants us to manufacture for them. So like a lot of OEM orders from big brands from all over the world, and we are also getting people who come and who want to take toys to Singapore, Dubai, Hong Kong, and get things manufactured specifically from India.
This is a major shift from the 12th edition of the exhibition held in 2019, wherein of 116 stalls, 90 stalls exhibited only imported toys. Abhishek Mahajan's report, DD India.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah laid the foundation stone of the country's first national-level cooperative university. He is the Minister for Cooperation as well. The Tribhuvan Sahakari University in India's western state of Gujarat on Saturday. Now, the event marks the historic step towards institutionalizing education and research in the cooperative space. The establishment of the Tribhuvan Sahakari University is being hailed as a forward-looking initiative aimed at transforming India's cooperative landscape. Lauding the university, the Cooperation Minister, Amit Shah, said that the university will do work like policy making, data analysis, cooperative development strategy and research in the cooperative sector.
ये यूनिवर्सिटी कोऑपरेटिव में नीति निर्माण का काम करेगी, डेटा विश्लेषण का काम करेगी, 5 साल, 10 साल और 25 साल की देश भर के कोऑपरेटिव के विकास की रणनीति करने का काम करेगी। अनुसंधान को भी इस यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ जोड़ा गया है और सबसे बड़ी बात है, ये यूनिवर्सिटी सिर्फ सहकारी कर्मचारी पैदा नहीं करेगी, यहां से त्रिभुवन भाई जैसे समर्पित सहकारी नेता भी पढ़ लिख कर सहकारिता क्षेत्र की नेतृत्व करेंगे।
On the first Saturday of July every year, in fact, the world comes together to celebrate the International Day of Cooperatives. And this year, it carries even more significance. It marks the United Nations International Year of Cooperatives 2025 with the theme, Cooperatives Driving Inclusive and Sustainable Solutions for a Better World. India, with its deep-rooted cooperative traditions, is poised to take center stage at this global initiative. Let's look at this report.
Celebrated globally since 1923 and officially recognized by the UN since 1995, Coops Day is a moment to acknowledge the impact of cooperatives across sectors. From agriculture and finance to health, education, energy, and retail. This year, the celebration aligns with two major global forums, the Second World Summit for Social Development and the UN High-Level Political Forum, both pushing the agenda of inclusive, sustainable growth. India's cooperative journey has received a fresh impetus under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With the mantra of Sahkar se Samriddhi, prosperity through cooperation, India has reignited its grassroots cooperative movement.
मैं यूनाइटेड नेशंस को भी साल 2025 को इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ कोऑपरेटिव्स घोषित करने के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, दुनिया के लिए कोऑपरेटिव्स एक मॉडल है, लेकिन भारत के लिए कोऑपरेटिव्स संस्कृति का आधार है, जीवन शैली है।
Over the last 3 years, the government has undertaken significant reforms. Nearly 2 lakh new primary agricultural credit societies are being set up to ensure no village remains untouched by the cooperative network. The Ministry of Cooperation, established in 2021, has laid a robust legal and institutional framework. Modernization, digitization, and economic viability of cooperatives are being prioritized, with initiatives aimed at market linkages, financial access, and technology adoption. India is also investing in human capital for the cooperative sector. 3 new national level cooperative bodies have been formed to enhance farmers' access to both domestic and global markets, strengthening the rural economy and boosting income generation. As the world marks Coops Day 2025 and the global community reflects on cooperative values, India stands ready to lead by example with bold reforms, new institutions, and a renewed commitment to inclusive growth. Bureau Report, DD India.
The entire region of Jammu and Kashmir has been vibrant with energy and economic growth since the beginning of the Amarnath Yatra. The arrival of pilgrims to glimpse the naturally formed ice shivling inside a cave believed to represent Lord Shiva himself has stimulated local businesses such as vendors, transport operators, hotels and tourism services. The increase in visitors has injected, a significant flow of money into the valley, enhancing the earnings of those involved in tourism and hospitality. Tourism has been a key driver of Jammu and Kashmir's economy, and this year the pilgrimage began on the 3rd of July and it's set to continue for 38 days. So in 2024, Jammu and Kashmir had recorded an impressive 23.59 million tourist arrivals, including pilgrims. Let's get you some weather updates and bringing relief from the muggy conditions. Showers were expected in Delhi over the weekend as the meteorological department has issued a yellow alert for this period, warning of possible light to moderate rain. The India Meteorological Department issued an orange alert warning for a number of states. This is for July 5, including Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Goa, West Bengal and for the coastal areas of Karnataka. And a red alert has been issued for heavy rainfall for 3 districts of the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh, Mandi, Kangra and Sirmaur. This is for July 6 and 7. In view of this, the Mandi district administration and the state government, they are making special preparations to prevent a repeat of last week's devastation. The Deputy Chief Minister, Mukesh Agnihotri, will stay at the Mandi district headquarters to ensure better administrative coordination in case of any adverse situation. The Public Works Minister, Vikramaditya Singh, is also visiting Sarang, which is the worst affected area. Mandi's Member of Parliament, Kangana Ranaut, is also scheduled to arrive in Mandi by the evening. Air Force helicopters also have been kept on standby. Let's get you news about the international weather. And search and rescue operations are underway in Texas. This is as the fatal flash floods there had claimed the lives of at least 24 people on Friday. Europe too is suffering from heat waves resulting in several forest fires.
South central Texas is suffering from a devastating flash flood along the Guadalupe River, killing at least 24 people and leaving nearly 24 girls unaccounted for on Friday. As rescue operations are underway, U.S. National Weather Service has declared a flash flood emergency for parts of Kerr County. Expressing concern, U.S. President Donald Trump called the situation terrible and shocking.
It's terrible, the floods. It's shocking. We'll take care of it. We're working with the governor. It's a terrible thing.
Whereas in Russia, a rare and powerful summer storm struck St. Petersburg on Friday, injuring at least 5 people. As per weather experts, it could be the most severe July storm in the past 160 years. The Neva River surged to 1.8 meters, prompting the activation of the city's flood protection system. A prolonged heat wave sweeping across the eastern Mediterranean has fueled intense wildfires in Turkey, Greece and Syria. Wildfires in Turkey's Izmir province have spread to residential areas, resulting in at least 2 deaths and forcing over 50,000 people to evacuate. The fires, fueled by strong winds and record-breaking temperatures, have caused widespread destruction. Though firefighters have contained 9 out of 10 wildfires in the Izmir, Turkish authorities have arrested 10 suspects in connection with wildfires. Wildfires are also raging in Greece, particularly near Athens and on the island of Crete, prompting evacuation. Fueled by strong winds and dense vegetation, Greece is on high alert due to the wildfires. Temperatures are expected to rise over 40 degrees Celsius on Saturday, increasing the risk of wildfires. The Rafina wildfire, which threatened the port and Athens International Airport, has been brought under control, but firefighters remain on alert. Meanwhile,
And let's go across live now to Buenos Aires, where the Ministry of External Affairs of India is addressing the press.
Dale. Sí, claro.
Buenas tardes. I warmly welcome you to this special press briefing by Secretary East, Shri P. Kumran, on the ongoing official visit of the Prime Minister of India to the Republic of Argentina. We also have with us for this press briefing our Ambassador to Argentina, Shri Ajnish Kumar, as also Joint Secretary who looks after Latin American countries in the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Praful Chandra Sharma. With that, I invite Secretary East to make his opening remarks. Sir.
Well, thank you, dear friends. Good afternoon to all of you. As you're all aware, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi is on an official visit to Argentina. The Prime Minister last visited Argentina in 2018 for the G20 summit. However, this is the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister in 57 years, making it a historical visit. This morning, the Prime Minister started his engagements by laying a wreath at the bust of General San Martin, the revered Argentinian freedom fighter. The tribute acknowledged his enduring legacy and pivotal role in Argentina's independence movement. Following the tribute, the Prime Minister was received at Casa Rosada by President Javier Milei, where he was accorded a ceremonial welcome. Subsequently, the two leaders had a brief tete-a-tete, followed by delegation-level talks, during which they reviewed the entire range of bilateral relations. The Prime Minister took the opportunity to thank President Milei for extending warm hospitality to him and his delegation, and also appreciated the gracious welcome. Both leaders agreed to enhance collaboration across a range of key sectors, including trade and commerce, technology, defense, space, health, and pharmaceuticals, and further deepen the strategic partnership between the two countries. I will go into details of some of the areas that were discussed subsequently in my presentation. The two leaders discussed the necessity of diversifying and expanding bilateral trade. The Prime Minister requested Argentina's support in expanding the India-Mercosur preferential trade agreement, noting that such an expansion can bring mutual benefits for both sides and open up new opportunities. Both leaders also expressed interest in enhancing collaboration in the defense sector, where they felt that they can leverage their respective experiences and capabilities to increase cooperation and contribute to mutual strategic interests. Both leaders also acknowledged the importance of the agriculture sector and its significant contribution to the economies on both sides. They discussed the need to enhance market access for each other's agricultural and dairy products, They also emphasized the importance of sharing knowledge and technology to boost productivity and sustainability in this sector. To take this forward, they directed their teams to convene the Joint Working Group on Agriculture at the earliest opportunity. The Prime Minister highlighted India's strength in the healthcare and pharmaceutical sectors, particularly the capacity to produce high-quality, affordable medicines. He discussed the possibility of India being moved from Annex 2 to Annex 1 of Argentina's pharmaceutical regulatory framework, which would facilitate smoother entry of Indian pharmaceutical products into the Argentine market. The Argentine side updated the Indian delegation on the fast-track approval process available for import of Indian medicines into India, especially those medicines that had US FDA clearance or the EMA, European Medical Authority clearance. The Indian side mentioned that this would significantly benefit the people of Argentina by improving access to affordable and life-saving medicines and reduce the cost of healthcare in Argentina. Other initiatives discussed in the health sector include initiatives in telemedicine, digital health solutions, and capacity building through training and knowledge exchange. The two leaders also had an opportunity to discuss cooperation in the energy and critical mineral sectors. The Prime Minister underlined India's growing energy and industrial needs and emphasized that Argentina could serve as a reliable partner in supporting India's developmental journey. With the world's second largest shale gas and fourth largest shale oil reserves, along with substantial conventional oil and gas deposits, Argentina holds strong potential to become an important energy partner for India. Argentina's rich reserves of critical minerals, including lithium, copper, and rare earth elements, align with India's need for secure and sustainable resources to drive its clean energy transition and industrial growth. As you all know, India and Argentina share a robust partnership in the field of space. In 2007, Argentina's first satellite was launched with the support of ISRO, India's Space Research Organization. Building on this foundation, both leaders emphasized the need to strengthen further collaboration in the space sector. The Prime Minister highlighted the significant growth of India's space industry, including the emergence of a vibrant space sector, vibrant private sector in space, capable of building everything from rockets to satellites. Both sides agreed on exploring new avenues for cooperation, including satellite development, launch services, space applications, and also to cooperate on capacity building. The Prime Minister thanked President Milei for extending strong support following the recent terrorist attack in Pahalgam in India's Jammu and Kashmir, and appreciated Argentina's solidarity during this difficult time. It is expected that the visit will further strengthen the strategic partnership between India and Argentina and allow us to explore new avenues of cooperation across a wide range of sectors. These particularly include trade and investment, health and pharmaceuticals, defense and security, infrastructure, mining and mineral resources, agriculture and food security, green energy, information and communication technologies, digital innovation, disaster management, science and technology, education, and people-to-people linkages. Just before we came in, President Milei hosted a lunch for the Prime Minister, and they had a chance to have a freewheeling discussion on a number of issues that were discussed between the two delegations. Let me try and brief you, give a sense of what the conversation touched upon. The Prime Minister emphasized that India and Argentina share democratic values and therefore they are natural partners, and that we should use that to expand our cooperation to greater heights in the future. The two leaders discussed cooperation under an initiative that India drives called the International Big Cat Alliance, which protects and promotes cooperation between the member states of the IBCA in protecting some 6 identified big cats, lions, tigers, and jaguars, and so on, 6 of them. The Prime Minister welcomed Argentina to join the International Big Cat Alliance and to work with us on sharing experiences and capacity building in terms of conservation of the big cats. The conversation also significantly dealt with the use of drones and multiple purposes for which they can be put into. The President showed a lot of interest in the uses that drones are being put to in India. There was discussion about using it to tackle IUU fishing, illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing, especially encroaching fishermen into exclusive economic zones of Argentina. There was also talk about using drones for cattle management, increasing agricultural productivity, for border surveillance, and the Argentinian side also talked about how drones could help in the surveillance of high-tension power transmission lines using drones instead of the traditional reliance on helicopters, which is much more expensive. The Prime Minister also had a chance to brief President Milei on India's Drone Didi initiative and how it is being used to significantly improve productivity in agriculture by involving rural women in the use of drones to administer fertilizers, pesticides, etc., and also for land surveys to determine land boundaries, etc. The Prime Minister also mentioned how drones had been used in India for emergency transport of medicines to remote areas during COVID, medicines and vaccines, of course, and also now how companies use drones to transport vegetables and fish, etc., to remote areas. The Prime Minister briefed the President on how the Indian satellite system NAVIC is used for helping fishermen to identify schools of fish so that they can target their fishing in a much more efficient manner. The Prime Minister also spoke about how he uses drones to monitor progress in projects that are of special interest to him as part of his monthly project reviews. That was something that interested President Milei very much. The other major topic of discussion during lunch was about India's UPI, Unified Payment Interface System, and how it has increased productivity in India, how it has led to very impressive formalization in the Indian economy, how it generates more data which can be used by the government and by economists to try and target various benefits to sections of the population more efficiently, how it generates a credit record that can be relied on for microcredit for farmers and small businesses, how the formalization of the economy has increased tax compliance, and so on. President Milei was keen to understand how the UPI system works and how it helps the central bank control monetary policy in a more effective way. And therefore, the two sides agreed that they should have a visit by a central bank delegation to visit India and to talk about various aspects of this. The two sides also agreed on enhanced cooperation between the youthful population on the two sides. And there was talk about cooperation in the area of sports. Clearly, India's strengths in cricket and Argentina's strength in football. We are talking about exchanging experiences in sports management. and also to try and get officials on the two sides talking. Another important area was cooperation in the area of startups. Given that India has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, we also have a very vibrant innovation ecosystem, with many startups headed by very young founders, and how the two sides can use cooperation in the area of startups to solve problems of immediate interest to them. Finally, they also had an opportunity to exchange views on how both Argentina and India, as key players in the global south, can work together in terms of resources, technology, and exchange of knowledge to try and promote the overall interests of the global south. I think I'll leave it there. I touched most parts of the conversation. The Prime Minister also invited President Milei, let me just add there, to visit India at an early opportunity. He also invited the President to visit the lion sanctuary in Gujarat state in India, and promised that it will be an enjoyable experience for him. Thank you very much.
We'll take some questions. So please, if you can identify yourself and then ask your question.
Gracias. No sé si usted me puede responder. Son dos preguntas en relación a la información que dio tan detalladamente y que le agradecemos.
Yes.
Por un lado, no desconoce que la industria farmacéutica, que es una prioridad para India, genera rispideces en la industria local. Me gustaría conocer al respecto si hay una, digamos, un avance, podríamos decir, en estas conversaciones, justamente en este específico rubro que es tan complejo, que es el ingreso de medicamentos producidos en India en la Argentina. Y dos,
So you are aware that the pharmaceutical industry is very important for India. It's a priority for India, and you know that there are certain friction with the local industry as to the entrance of medicines produced in India to be sold in Argentina.
Y por otro lado, si la India tiene pensado alguna inversión en materia energética. El presidente de la petrolera argentina YPF estuvo en la India, hizo una gira importante y me gustaría saber si va a haber novedades, digamos, en el corto o mediano plazo de parte de la India o todavía no. Gracias.
Then I would like to know, if India is interested in investing in energy. The president of the largest Argentine oil company, YPF, made a tour to India. Therefore, I would like to know whether there are news about these investments to be made by India in the mid or short term.
Please. Sí. Curto, de punto.
Hello, I have two questions. But I would like to know this. Mr. Milei got out from the BRICS, and India uses the BRICS as a counterbalance for China, so it is very positive for you to be in BRICS. Did the president spoke about the benefits of being in or out of the BRICS? And the second question is, as much as I know from my experience, India has tried to sell airplanes and lots of materials or equipment in the defense area, but it couldn't because finally Argentina chose the United States, for example, now. And in the case of drones, for example, they are leaning to the Israelis, for example, and they have the talks now. So what specific areas are you speaking about now in defense area with Argentina? My name is Natasha Nievieski-Kviat. I am from Clarín newspaper.
Okay.
Le agrego sobre los temas que preguntó ella en materia de medicamentos, si tienen previsto hacer acuerdos directamente con provincias y específicamente sobre el tema de IPF, si el fallo de la jueza Loreta Presca les pone algún freno al memorando que ya se firmó en enero de este año.
Okay.
I would like to build upon the question that has been raised before and about medicines. I would like to know whether there are some agreements with provinces.
Okay.
And then about YPF, I would like to know whether the ruling issued by Judge Presca would somehow stop the MOU that has been signed with Argentina.
Okay. One last question, please.
Sir, you spoke of critical lithium and critical minerals. I understand that there are existing concessions, granted to some Indian companies. Can we expect a few more as a result of today's discussions? Last.
Okay.
So just to add, very short question, that this visit of any Indian Prime Minister is happening after 15 years. So with 57 years. So with what aim this visit was scheduled, and has India and Argentina both have achieved the targets as far as the bilaterals between both the nations are concerned, sir?
Sir.
I'll try and address these in the order in which I understood it. Pharmaceuticals, yes, India has many strengths. We export to many markets around the world, including to Western markets. In fact, a number of Indian factories of pharmaceuticals have certifications by the WHO, GMP, good manufacturing practices, and a number of Indian medicines are accepted into the US market because of US FDA approvals for specific formulations and for specific production facilities. We export to Europe, and Argentina confirmed today to us, the Argentinian side, that the medicines that already have US FDA approval or EMA approval will be allowed to be directly imported into Argentina. We have a separate dialogue ongoing on how we would like to move from Category 2 to Category 1 or Annex 2 to Annex 1. For that, there is still some process compliance is required. But wherever we have FDA or EMA approval, we were told that the medicines can come directly into Argentina. On energy investments, we still have an MOU between YPF and two Indian companies, IOC and Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. We want to try and work on making investments in India, getting concessions on oil exploration and oil production. So this is an ongoing dialogue. We hope to be able to reach some conclusion, and our investments can start in such a way that we can also enter production sharing agreements or in any other format that Argentina would like. Critical minerals, let me change the order a little bit. Argentina is a part of the lithium triangle. It is of great interest to us. We had two Indian public sector companies, Coal India Limited and also a consortium called Kabul, which is specifically tasked with picking up critical minerals assets outside India. They have signed 5 concession agreements, and they are working on how to finalize investments and how to work out the implementation of the investments in such a way that minerals can be produced here, refined and taken to India for various purposes. I believe that there are 2 private sector companies also, one from India called Greenco, and another Indian-owned company based in the UAE called World Metal Alloys. which has also invested in lithium concessions in Argentina. Hopefully, we will have more cooperation coming in the coming years. On BRICS, there was a very interesting question. I'm not sure I agree with your reasoning about why India entered BRICS, but let me try and limit myself to the fact that there was no discussion on BRICS between India and Argentina today. And therefore, the other points that you mentioned did not arise. Drones, yes, Israel has one of the most vibrant drone production, drone technology systems in the world. Our industry also collaborates extensively with Israel, but we use drones for a large number of reasons that I explained to you in my initial presentation. And the President clearly showed a lot of interest in the applications that we use for drones, especially for agriculture, animal husbandry, monitoring transmission lines, etc. And anything that led to an increase in productivity in economic activity was of great interest to President Milei. So he absorbed a lot of the uses that we have for drones in India very keenly and said he would like to understand more, and therefore a big business delegation will be going to India in the next couple of months. And they would be talking to startup founders in India and finding ways to use drones for various purposes. Defense cooperation areas, you spoke about, I mentioned about helicopters, and you wanted to know which are the other areas of interest. Argentina has a fleet of helicopters that need maintenance. We have a fair amount of experience in maintaining helicopters. And therefore, we thought we could be of support in maintenance, repair, and overhauling of helicopters. We also have some technological platforms, but clearly our defense and security environment around India is very different from that of Argentina. And therefore, while we have offered a number of these platforms where we have strengths, we would very much go by Argentina's convenience on which platforms are of interest to them. That's about it. Yeah. Agreements with provinces? No, we haven't spoken about any agreements with provinces. But we would very much welcome any interest from the Argentinian side for any such initiative, and then discuss it with our team.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press briefing. Thank you very much for your presence.
Well, that was a press briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs. It was addressed by the Secretary East in the Ministry of External Affairs, Perisami Kumaran, and he talked first about the priorities that the leaders talked about, diversifying bilateral trade, the India-Mercosur trade as well, agriculture, how India seeks market access, they seek market access into India for agricultural products, the sharing of knowledge and technology, especially in the agricultural space, and then the joint working group on agriculture was tasked with finding the way forward. Also, there was talk about smoother entry for Indian medicines into the Argentinian market, and this would help in affordable healthcare. Also, telemedicine was talked about. Energy and critical minerals was very much a subject of discussion. Argentina could be a reliable partner for India in terms of energy security because they have huge reserves of shale gas, lithium. So they're looking for new areas of cooperation as well. And we have already had cooperation in space, but now new space applications. These are on the higher technology aspects. Then the two principals had a discussion over lunch as well. And amongst the things they discussed was the Big Cat Alliance. Argentina was invited to join the Big Cat Alliance. Both countries are partners naturally because they are democracies. There was talk also about the use of drones. In India, India is using drones, to check illegal fishing. So that's among the interesting topics that were discussed, how India is using drones for cattle management. It could be used increasingly for border management. And in fact, Argentina also suggested that they could actually be used to monitor high tension power lines rather than using helicopters. Then, of course, the young populations of the two countries can gain from each other's experiences. Startups is one area, sports management is another. We'll continue to get you inputs from Argentina, but for the moment, let's conclude. Thank you very much for watching. Namaskar.